I just returned from a wonderful cruise on the beautiful Enchanted Princess, and I want to talk about the dining options available on board. In this video, I'm going to share my favorites and not so favorites so that when you get on board, you will have an idea of what to expect. One thing is certain, and that is you will be sure to find something pleasing to your palate. Hi, I'm Rocky, and welcome to the channel dedicated to cruising with confidence in your 50s and beyond. So, if you're interested in exploring the dining options aboard the Enchanted Princess, you're in the right place. So, let's get into it. The first thing that we want to discuss when talking about the dining options on the Enchanted Princess is to make the distinction between what's included in your cruise fare and what isn't. So when we're talking about dining options that are included in your cruise fare, the first one that we want to break down is the main dining room. This is going to be by far and large your largest dining option that's included on your cruise. And so your main dining option, when you book your cruise, you need to select if you want an early seating or a late seating. That's if you want what's called the traditional dining. So as far as cruises go, traditionally, they would have different seatings. Sometimes you'd have an early, mid, or late seating, and you would pick the seating depending on, when you prefer to eat. And with the traditional dining, you're assigned a table. You keep the same table every night of your cruise. Sometimes you can request, especially post-COVID, you can request having a private table for two, or you can opt to share with other family members or even strangers. A lot of times people like that option because it lets them get to meet new people while they're on board. You will select the Santorini dining room. The Santorini dining room is the dining room that's allotted for the traditional dining. So then next we're going to talk about I wouldn't say non-traditional, but what's called the flexible dining. Okay, so let's talk about flexible dining. So flexible dining is kind of like, think of it like making your dinner reservations, like if you're going out to dinner. So what you can do with flexible dining is you can have a different dining time every night. You just would make a reservation for the night that you want to go out for the time, and you will be seated at that time. So I think they give you like about a 20-minute intervals that you can select your dining time, and you might want to consider this. It's really handy, like if you want to go to a show or if you have some other activity planned for the evening. When you're with that set dining time, you kind of have to like finagle things. But with the flexible dining, you can just simply say, oh, I'm going to a show that night, so maybe I want to have dinner early tonight, or the following night you might want to have it later. So that's what the flexible dining allows you to do. So if you are interested in flexible dining while on the Enchanted Princess, you will book the Amalfi dining room. The Amalfi dining room is the one that will handle your flexible dining requests. So your last option for the main dining room is the walk-in dining. So just like the name suggests, this is when you want the maximum amount of flexibility. So you're not making a reservation, you don't have a set dining time, you just want to be able to go and eat in the dining room whenever they're serving that specific meal, because there will be a specified window for breakfast, lunch, dinner, depending, on the dining room that you're in. So if you want the maximum amount of flexibility, you can do the walk-in dining. Now, the only caveat to that is that you may have to wait. So since there's no reservation, you just show up. So they might say, okay, we can seat you in 10, 20 or so minutes. So you do want to be aware of that. Otherwise, you are going to get served the same food as any of the other dining rooms, but you will have that flexibility of just showing up and being willing to wait until they're able to seat you. So if that sounds like a good option for you, you are going to be in the Capri dining room on the Enchanted Princess. So the Capri dining room is going to offer you your walk-in dining option. Another great option for included food on your Enchanted Princess cruise is the buffet. On the newer ships, I believe it's called the World Marketplace, but on my cruise, on the Enchanted Princess, it was called the Horizon Court. And I noticed that they had a Horizon Court buffet, which was a really large one, and then they also had the Horizon Bistro, which was a little smaller, but it did offer the same items for the most part. I do believe that the Horizon Court might have had more in the lines of like fresh salads and things like that, but they were very similar, and sometimes they weren't both open at the same time, but during really peak periods, like during your breakfast rush, your lunch rush, and your dinner rush, at those peak hours, they were usually both open. But if you were go like maybe 3 in the afternoon, maybe just the bistro part would be open. However, you had access to, you know, all of the food for the most part of the day. So it's a really good option if you just want to, you know, drop in, grab a quick bite, see what they have to offer. The food there I found to be pretty much on par with the main dining room. You know, it wasn't the best buffet ever, but by far it wasn't the worst buffet ever. I bet you will be able to find something there that you know you would find delicious. One thing that really stood out to me were the little panko shrimp. If you see those when they're out and you like shrimp, grab them because they were really tasty. Now, one of my favorite little spots to grab a quick bite that's included in the cruise fare is the International Cafe. The International Cafe is located on the 5th deck in the Rotunda area. It's a really good location. You can grab a sandwich, you can grab some coffee, and you can even grab a snack like some cakes or cookies, and then just walk and sit down, and you're in the hub, right where all of the activity is happening inside of that main area. And the food is really tasty. One of my favorites was the tuna sandwich. It was on a little croissant. They also had like a ham and cheese on a croissant that was really, or not a croissant, but it was on like a little baguette. It was really, really good. Very, very tasty. And they're open 24/7. So there's no excuse to be hungry because they have some really nice little tidbits. Even late at night, you can go in there and get you nice chocolate chip cookies and a little something to drink. Really good. So don't sleep on the International Cafe. It's definitely one of my favorites. Now, there are a couple of other included places that you can grab a quick bite. One is the Salty Dog. Now, the Salty Dog is good for burgers and hot dogs. The Salty Dog did not exceed my expectations. It was okay. I don't know if I even finished it. It just wasn't my favorite. Not that it was bad. I'm not saying you won't enjoy it, but it just didn't hit all the marks for me. And also there's the poolside pizzeria. So you can also grab a slice of pizza outside. That's included in your fare. And that's pretty tasty. So you can just, you know, grab a slice of pizza, sit out on the deck and enjoy your day. And of course, the final thing that I want to talk about that's included for the most part, and I say for the most part because depending on your plan, you might have a one-time nominal charge. I think it's like $14.99 for room service. But there are items on room service all day that are included in your fare. Now, you can also order some items through room service that will incur an additional charge, but it will be clearly stated on your room service menu. But you can definitely, you know, get you an early morning continental breakfast or a late night pizza. Okay, you guys, that pizza, that room service pizza is delicious. It's not the same as the one out by the pool, which isn't bad, but the one that you order from room service, it's huge. It is tasty. It exceeded my expectations. So don't forget to try that. So Princess has 2 options when it comes to dining experiences that are additional. One is their casual dining, and then the other is specialty dining. So let's talk a little bit about casual dining. So on the Enchanted Princess, there were 3 casual dining options. The O'Malley's Irish Pub, the Ocean Terrace Sushi Bar, and Gigi's Pizzeria. So another option for upgraded or upcharged dining is the specialty dining. Now, these are going to be your really finer dining experiences. So the first one is the Crown Grill, which is their steakhouse. And it is pretty good. I am going to say not the best steakhouse that I've been to, but it is definitely an elevated experience from the steak that you will get, say, in your main dining room. So if you do want to, have a nicer cut of meat, more flavorful meat, then it will be worth it. And the upcharge for that is about $50 or $60 per person. And it does come with its own set of included items. Your steak, your lobster, and then they do also have some additional add-ons that you can purchase in addition to your meal. So it is going to be a nice experience, think wining and dining, date night, that sort of thing. And it's really good. The other one is Sabatini's. Sabatini's is going to be your Italian fare, a little bit more elevated than the main dining room, which, is why you have the extra expense, but it is going to also give you that elevated experience. The favorite of mine, which is the Catch by Rudy. Now, I'm a New Orleans girl. I love my seafood, and the Catch by Rudy, it exceeded my expectations. It was so good. It was next level. It's like what I expected from Crown Grill and didn't quite get. The Catch by Rudy, I'm going to say a 9.9 out of 10. It was really good. The portion sizes were really nice. The flavor was on point. The service was amazing. I mean, the best wait staff. It's like you didn't want the evening to end. We ended up making friends with the people to the left and right of us, and it was just an all-around awesome experience. So I really recommend the Catch by Rudy. And also, I don't want to forget, there was a pop-up. It was a crab shack pop-up, and it was held inside of the Crown Grill during lunch one day. So we signed up for that, and it was pretty yummy. It was, think of like a bucket. You know how they do this, the seafood buckets, like a seafood boil. So you have your crawfish, your crab legs, your potatoes, your corn, and all of that in this big bucket. And I think the charge for that, I'll look it up and put it on the screen. But I want to say it was around $30 a person. Anyway, it was a good deal. It was tasty, and it was a nice little deviation from, the regular buffet or main dining room for lunch. So if you do see that pop up on your cruise and you like seafood, it's a win. So you guys, those are my thoughts about the dining options on the Enchanted Princess. Like I said, you're not gonna starve. There's going to be something there that you're going to enjoy. You do have enough options to kind of cover, everyone's palate. And for me, I tend to stay away from buffets as much as I can. However, on this Enchanted Princess, I did find that both the Horizon Court and the Horizon Bistro seem to be pretty well maintained, pretty, they turned over the food pretty quickly. I would suggest, though, that if you're going there for lunch or dinner, especially, to try to get there closer to peak time, because if you are later, some of the food does start looking a little bit like it's been sitting out a while. So, you want to just be aware of that. But anyway, having said all of that, there are a lot of options, and even the additional options, if you do the casual or even the specialty, for the price, I think that it's really worth it if you do want to go ahead on and splurge on those things. So hope you found this helpful. If so, please consider giving this video a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. It's going to help the channel to grow. And if you could also consider subscribing to the channel, I'd really love that. I'd really love to have you in the community. And if you have any other thoughts about the food on the Enchanted Princess, leave me a comment below, and we can kind of compare notes and see what our thoughts are. So thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.